Hey guys, GamerZach here, and welcome to my top 10 PC horror games to watch in 2017. What's this? There's terror everywhere. What's this? It's screams that fill the air. Horror games, although they terrify, there just might be a hope and a kind of beauty in there somewhere, if you look for it. Well, it's time to see what the true nightmares before this Christmas have in store. First up, we have Resident Evil 7 Biohazard by Capcom. Fear, combat, exploration, and item management. What they say are the 4 pillars of survival horror. The latest addition in a long line, Resident Evil 7 is built from the ground up with a new engine specifically made for it. Most interestingly, the game now plays from a first-person point of view with VR in mind. This could make series veterans hate it, but it could also be a fresh perspective. We'll have to wait and see when the game releases this January. Next we have State of Decay 2 by Undead Labs, a sequel and calling itself an all-new multiplayer zombie survival fantasy. Build lasting communities in 4-player co-op or go solo in an open world that remembers your choices. RPG progression, resource collecting, and crafting, the original State of Decay was very well received critically and by the players. If the previous game is anything to go by, those looking for a zombie survival should love this one. Next we have Routine by Lunar Software, a first-person horror exploration game set in an abandoned moon base. Originally scheduled for a 2016 release but pushed back to March 2017, there was a long time without updates and we began to worry for this game. Now with an official release month at least, we can look forward to figuring out the mysteries of what truly happened to everyone on the base, all while being chased by a terrifying humanoid robot. Next up we've got Agony by Madmind Studio. Funded on Kickstarter, here you play a tormented soul in the depths of hell, control people and possess demons to survive in the hostile environment attempting to escape. The game has an interesting aesthetic and seems to be an original addition to the genre. A demo of the game has also been distributed, so we've gotten a closer look at the game, and it really does seem terrifying. And then we have Pamela by NVYVE Studios, a standout in the horror genre by being set in a beautiful and colorful utopian city. You explore this unforgiving paradise and survive with unconventional weaponry and technology. The sentient AI Pamela is your only friend as the inhabitants have all been infected. I personally love the look of this game at first sight as it's so refreshing, and it being a mix of zombie survival and environmental management doesn't hurt its odds. Going into early access in February, and plans to complete within 9 months, we'll be able to give it a proper shot and see if it lives up to the idea. Next we've got Last Year by Elastic Games, an asymmetrical 5v1 multiplayer survival horror. Last Year pits a group of high school characters against a murderer. Scavenge resources, craft weapons, and work together to survive against the one playing as the villain. It looks like a fun experience and has been shaping up quite nicely over the past year. Balanced asymmetry is also something I'm always a fan of. Beta is scheduled for the second half of 2017, so we should get a good look then. Then we have Friday the 13th by Gun Media. Continuing on asymmetrical multiplayer, here you're a group of counselors against the infamous Jason. Originally scheduled for 2016 but delayed to include a proper single-player mode after securing additional funding, this game seems to be crafted with love and care. Play stealthy or try to take Jason head-on, go solo or work as a group. Jason, on the other hand, has a myriad of mysterious powers at his disposal. We've seen a lot of gameplay so far, and as the game gets closer to release, we should find out all the details. Next up we've got Outlast 2 by Red Barrel Studio. Delayed a number of times now, but at least provided a playable demo. This one is now scheduled for 2017. You play a cameraman working with your wife as investigative journalist following clues of a murder. What you find might drive you mad. The first game was well received and a favorite of the horror fan. We should soon find out how terrified we'll be in the single-player first-person survival horror. And then we have Observer by Bluebird team, from the creators of Layers of Fear. In this first-person cyberpunk survival horror, you hack into people's memories and fears, but what happens when your fears are hacked? Focusing on a deep narrative and environmental storytelling, this one does look a bit Soma-esque, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Not too much has been seen so far, so this might be a 2018 release knowing how development goes, but we should see a lot more through 2017 either way. And finally, we've got System Shock by Nv Yve Studios. System Shock is Reborn, a complete remake of the genre-defining 1994 classic built from the ground up in Unity. Funded on Kickstarter, raising over $1.3 million, they seem dedicated to bringing this experience back to life while staying true to the original. As the game that inspired many first-person horror games up until today, it'd be interesting to see if it could still stand in today's gaming environment. A free pre-alpha demo is available for download, so if you're interested, you can check it out right now. And as a bonus to this list, I'm going to mention 2 games. First up is Alison Road. It was funded, abandoned, revived. It seems it's back in development now, but stated to be progressing slower than before. It might come out, it might not. Worth watching to see what happens, but I wouldn't hold my breath. And then there's Overkill's The Walking Dead by Overkill Software, delayed again to 2017 and probably again to 2018 at this rate. Lots of funding behind it, but we'll have to wait and see if they'll actually stick to their schedule this time. Now, most of these games should be releasing in 2017, but either way, you should keep an eye on developments to see if these games will haunt you till next Christmas or be cheesy scares you soon forget. And to wrap up, here's something I'd like to know. What kind of horror games do you like best? Macabre, zombies, psychological horrors? I'd love to know. Alright, that wraps up my top 10 PC horror games to watch in 2017. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, drop me a like or share it with your friends. The support is always appreciated. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.